Hello everyone. Hello and welcome back to my channel. I am That Doll Collector. My name is Lisa. And this little guy here, his name is Justin. We'll get back to him in a little bit. But for now, I'd like to thank you all for joining my channel today. All my subscribers for leaving those beautiful comments that you've been leaving me, liking my videos, and keeping coming back to watch more. If you're new today and you like what you see, maybe consider subscribing to my channel as well. So today is Father's Day. And to all of you that celebrate Father's Day, I hope you're having a very happy Father's Day. And you know, fathers nowadays can come in many forms. You know, you don't have to be a biological father to be a father figure to someone. You could be an uncle or a brother or even just a dolly dad. You know, today, if you celebrate it, is a special day for you. So happy Father's Day. And today, I would like to tell you also about my special father. I am blessed to still have my father in my life. He is a retired 80-year-old farmer, my dad is. And I bet you didn't know, my dad is Mr. Old McDonald. Yes, I grew up on Old McDonald's farm. There really is an Old McDonald's farm. And the memories that I had there, they're just priceless. I had such a great childhood growing up on that farm. And a lot of the memories are memories that are linked to my dad. I think the biggest thing that I remember about my dad being on the farm was how he was always able to fix things. You know, we didn't have a lot of money and we kind of made do with a lot of things. And things would break down and I would see him often underneath a piece of equipment in the middle of the yard, going in and out of his workshop trying to fix whatever had broke. And the same was true for things within the house too. You know, if something broke, Dad would always try to fix it, which also linked to our toys. If you had a toy that broke, what do? Take it to Dad. Maybe Dad can fix it. Which now leads me to this guy. Let me tell you a little bit about Justin. Justin here is nothing more than a dime store doll. He's a very inexpensive doll. And when I say dime store, I mean dime store back then is probably equivalent to what a dollar store would be today, right? And the thing that is so special about Justin to me is that he's a larger doll. At the time when I was just starting out in my collection, I had a few dolls, but they were all like newborn size. And Justin here, he's more like a 3-month baby size. So I gathered some of my birthday money together and I purchased this cute little guy, brought him home, and decided that I really wanted to name him Justin, but I wasn't sure about the middle name. And I was telling my dad that I wanted to name him Justin and I didn't know, what I should name his middle name. And Dad said I should name him Justin Morgan. And Justin Morgan is from a novel. And Justin Morgan had a horse. And Justin Morgan was actually responsible. I have a note down here so I say it right. He was responsible for the start of the American Morgan horse breed, if you didn't know who Justin Morgan was. So everybody, this is Justin Morgan. And when you look at this doll, you can see that his vinyl isn't that great. You know, he's even got some bubbles in it if you look really close. And he's got this little cheap little pacifier. You can take it out, but it's a little bit hard to get back in. His face squishes. And his eyes open and close. But, through the years, I think he's gotten even more orange through the years. I don't know. But, I wouldn't trade this doll for nothing. Because it's not so much what I pay for a doll. And isn't that true about a lot of the dolls in your collection? It's the memories that you have with them, the things that are linked to the doll. And there is one memory with my dad. well, there's two. He helped me name him, and there's another one that's linked to this doll. And that is, we lived 5 miles away from town, right? So every Sunday, I was allowed to bring at least one doll with me to church. So I would dress him up and, bring him in the car with me, but I wouldn't bring him into actually church. I would leave him in the car. So one Sunday, I decided to bring Justin. And on the way home, my brother always sat with me in the back seat. I have one older brother. And, like siblings usually do, we started to argue. And that turned into kind of a fight. And he decided to grab Justin at the top of his head. And I held on to the bottom of his body. And you can imagine what happened next. Justin's head came off. And I was devastated. I started to cry my eyes out because this was like my baby. To see your doll without its head, it devastated me. And I remember my brother, when he pulled, I don't think he meant to pull his head off. It came off. And he had that look of like, and then he started laughing hysterically. He was laughing so hard. So this is the dynamics of the car on the way home from church that day. I'm sitting over here with Justin's body, crying my eyes out. My brother has his head in his hands and he's laughing hysterically. My mother is in the passenger seat in the front, and she's yelling at my brother, trying to get him to give her Justin's head, and also trying to get me to stop crying by giving her Justin's body so I quit looking at it. So hoping that I'll stop crying. And my dad, he's just trying to drive home, right? He's trying to get there as fast as he can to get everything quieted down. But he is also yelling at my brother, telling him, don't laugh. It's not funny. Why did you do that? All this, all this stuff is going on. Well, I get home, and Dad takes Justin's, the two parts of Justin out to his workshop, and it doesn't take long. He comes back, and Justin's in one piece, and he proceeds to show me what had happened. He had a string, like some dolls do, holding his head on, and it wasn't on very good to begin with. So he put a zip tie, like we do today, around there and tightened it down. He showed me. But, when he showed me, I was still kind of upset and crying a little bit. And Dad is the type of dad that when there's like a sad situation or a serious situation that he's trying to comfort you, he always tries to do it with like a humorous type comment at the end, trying to make you laugh. Well, so what he did to try and make me laugh, but at the time I didn't really think it was that funny. He himself grabbed him on his head and he said, "See, if you pull on his head, it won't come off anymore." And I was like, "No!" And I just grabbed Justin and I ran up to my room. Another thing I remember looking out the window and watching him hold Justin. And if a mother takes your doll and holds it, she'll hold it like a baby. She'll cradle it or whatever. But most dads, when they take your doll, how do they hold it? He was holding Justin like a football. He had him under his arm and his head right here. He was holding him like a football. But that was the most memorable time that I can remember about Dad fixing any of my toys, was when he put Justin's head back on his body. It was quite the time. But my dad, he's pretty special. He's funny that way. He's very witty. He's a very witty person. And according to my grandmother, he's always been that way from the time he was a little girl. From the time he was a little boy. My dad was not a little girl. From the time he was a little boy. And he used to make up a little nursery rhymes or change the words around or make up poems. And I'll never forget the one poem that he told me he made up. It was about Old Mother Hubbard, and it went like this. Old Mother Hubbard went to the cupboard to get her poor daughter a dress. But when she got there, the cupboard was bare, and so was her daughter, I guess. And I remember he said Grandma used to get so mad at him because she thought he wasn't being proper. You know, you don't do things like that. You know, that wasn't proper. It was. I think it's so funny. But yeah, Dad, we had some good times. I remember a lot of the things that we did together on the farm, and you know, Dad worked long hours, and I remember sometimes in the day when he would be out in the field, I would get on my bicycle and I would ride down to where the field was where he was working. And whatever he was doing, if he was combining or planting or whatever he was doing, I would get off my bicycle and stand on the edge of the field. And when he came around, he would stop and let me in the cab of the tractor, the combine, or whatever it was. And I would ride around the field a couple times till I got tired of it, and then I would go back home. But often I would do that, and it was just, you know, a special time with my dad. It was always so noisy in the cab, so you couldn't really even talk, but it was just the time that you could spend together, just you know, in the field. And I also remember going out to check the cattle in the pasture. You know, we would take the pickup out there, and he would let us either sit in the cab, and sometimes he would let us drive when we got to the field. You know, we were too small to reach the pedals, but he would just let us sit on his lap and steer the steering wheel. Or he would also let us sit in the back of the bed of the truck. He'd put the tailgate down and just go real slow through the field, and we would dangle our feet off the end of the tailgate of the truck, and go by the cows and the calves. And it was so nice. It was just a really fun, I had a really fun time doing that sort of thing. So yeah, it was my dad. So anyway, we're 12 minutes into it. I think we're going to end it there for today. And so I think that's going to do it for this video today. And Dad, if you're watching, because I know sometimes you watch my videos, if you're watching, I hope you're having a very great Father's Day. And please know that I love you so very much. And to everyone else, have a great Father's Day as well. Even if you are just a dolly dad, you deserve to have a great day today. So always remember that happiness is a choice that we choose to make every day. We can't necessarily choose how we feel about a situation, but we can always choose how we react. Thank you so much for watching me today and helping to make my day a very happy Dolly Day. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. Say goodbye, Justin.